Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to No Name Gaming. My name is Alex Light here at Racing Lights Productions, your home for sim racing. We are live at the virtual Myrtle Beach Speedway for the American Motorsports Association's Myrtle Beach 100. Last week, we were at one of the oldest and most historic short tracks in the country, Hickory Motor Speedway. We watched Trevor Edwards take the pole and dominate most of last week's race, although a late race move from RS Center put him in the lead and ultimately took the checkered flag. Some long runs and tempers flaring kicked off last week's race and the start of the season, and we're sure to see more of that tonight. Tonight we have a bigger track and a bigger field and a lot more room to move out there. Myrtle Beach has a good bit of history with some of the greats running on this track in the past. Unfortunately, though, this track is now a closed track. Thanks to iRacing, it lives on in the virtual world. Names such as the Pettys, Earnhardts, and Jeff Gordon have all raced at Myrtle Beach at some point of their careers. This half-mile track was once home to the Busch Series, now known as the Xfinity Series, and the Wayland Modifieds. Tonight it plays host to the American Motorsports Association and their late model stocks. There are going to be a variety of strategies coming into tonight's race, as this track can be run in many different ways. One thing to keep an eye out is the pit exit throughout turn 2. There are bumps there to separate the track from the apron, but drive it in too deep and the car will definitely be lost. Let's go take a look at the driver's standings after last week's race at Hickory and what's to come up for the drivers later this season. So taking a look at the driver's standings after last week's race at Hickory, we have RS Center in the lead for points. He's got 42 points. And you can see as we go through the field, we got Kieran Church in second. And then in third place, we have Cody Bain. Fourth, Sean Cool and Cade Green round out the top 5 points. Very, very close to this first race. Now, tonight's going to be a lot different. We have a much bigger field. Give me 1 second. It's a much bigger field tonight. From what it looks like, we have about 30 drivers, maybe 30 drivers set to take the grid tonight. So it's going to be a really exciting race, really anticipating some intense racing all over the track. It's going to be non-stop action from green to checkered. Taking a look at the schedule, next week we go to Florida, and we go to the famous Five Flags Speedway, home of the Snowball Derby. Then after that, going to Southern National, so a little bit shorter track there. It's still a decent size, but it's going to be pretty packed compared to what we see at Five Flags and what we see here tonight. Then North Wilkesboro, then another bull ring track in South Boston, Lanier, Rockingham, and you can see the second half of the schedule there on the right-hand side. So a lot of drivers here tonight ready to take the field. RS Center, your current points leader, won last week's race. It does not look like he is in the field here tonight, so we will for sure be getting a new winner. However, there are some new faces here tonight as well as ones that we saw last week, so it's going to be a good mix-up here. So it's not going to be as much familiarity with drivers who raced around each other last week. We're going to see a wide mix of drivers trying to figure out who runs how, who to look out for, how hard you can race this driver versus that driver, what is this driver's tendency. It's going to be a big shakeup, and you can see coming around, you see a lot of really close racing. We've seen in practice 2 wide, some even going 3 wides. Because of the characteristic of this track, it's only 13-degree banking around the corners. It's very tough to keep that back end underneath you. We've seen a lot of slides throughout practice. And so look out for throughout the race, especially as the tires wear. We saw this at Hickory. The grip really fell off, but you also have to keep in mind Hickory was a day race. Track was a lot hotter. The tires were going to wear a lot faster, but it's all about how you take the corners. Do you dive in hard here and go and try and burn that right front a little bit, or do you try and push the exit with the rears and try and burn those rears on the exit? What is your strategy as you go throughout? That's kind of the play with the flat tracks. Where do you want to run the wear the most? You want to try and keep it as balanced as you can, but it's trying to figure out how to keep it nice and even. You can see a lot of drivers here coming through turns 3 and 4, hugging that bottom real low. But there is a little bit of dirt or sand there, is what it looks like. It looks like sand. Maybe dirt. I could be wrong. But down there, you got to be careful. If it kicks up a little bit, that car is going to catch that. Dirty up the tire is going to make that car a lot looser too. So it's going to be a really interesting race that we see here tonight. large field, and we should be getting ready to grid here any moment. Once we start the grid, we'll go through our starting lineup here for tonight. Hopefully you guys are all excited for this race for the Myrtle Beach 100. And if you are joining us for the first time, welcome. Greatly appreciate you stopping by. If you haven't joined us before, we also have broadcasts on Saturday night. We broadcast the Online Motorsports Association's Virtual Racing Championship. That is a Cup Series style NASCAR series, and they run basically a lot of standard NASCAR tracks as well as some ones that aren't typically on the schedule, like later up in the season. We're heading to Long Beach. Going to be a really interesting one, but join us for this coming Saturday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we should be getting ready. We got just a little bit longer here, but taking a look through the field. Not on track right now, but driver of the number 1 car, Aaron Johnson, set the pole here tonight, but it was a tight battle there. Top 3 within 1/100th of a second. We're looking at the numbers here. It looks like our official number of cars gridding up tonight is 29. Still a much larger field. Last week we had 18 take the grid. All right, so checker flag in the air for the warm-up, and we're going to get ready to kick things off here for the Myrtle Beach 100. So let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Myrtle Beach 100. On pole, oh, never mind, my apologies. I was looking at the practice times, so got to get used to the warm-up. That's my fault. Sorry, guys. So starting on pole here tonight, driver of the 55 machine is Josh Parrish. Alongside of him, set the pole last week, Trevor Edwards. On the second row, we've got Dustin Momborquette. I hope I said that correctly. If not, you'll have to let me know. Driver of the 15 machine. And then next to him in 4th place, Kiernan Church. In the third row, we have Cody Boehm and Jason Warren. In row 4, Zachary Onan and Spencer Dickinson. Row 5, rounding out the top 10, is Aaron Johnson and Devin Rogers. Going outside of the top 10 in row 6, Donald Clark, and actually one of the drivers of the OMA VRC, Jolene Sims. Going outside to row 7 here, we've got Leon Keniston and Josh Oswald. Row 8, William Griffith, Bill Tomer. In row 9, we've got Grant Brown, Nathan Bryant. Rounding out the top 20 in row 10, we've got Shannon Wilder and Cody Dempster. In row 11, we've got Jason Lottridge and Rodrigo Loga. Hope I said that correctly, so if I did not, Rodrigo, please let me know. In row 12, we've got Jacob Boehm and Alex Greats. Going into row 13, we've got Dylan Williams and Neil Vinorodsky. In row 14, we've got Cade Green and Hunter Tate. And rounding out our field of 29 tonight is Nathan Bishop. So that's your starting lineup. It is quite the field that we have tonight. A large one indeed. I believe we are doing 2 pace laps. So we'll get ready to go green next time around. But this is a large field tonight. A lot of drivers interested after seeing last week's race. It was a very good race at Hickory Motor Speedway. We went green for about 60 laps, and then a lot of beating and banging there in the second half of the race. So if you did not go see that, it is over on our YouTube channel, Racing Lights Productions. You can go watch that back and watch all the action. It was quite the impressive race. Close enough, says Brett. Good, I'm glad. So here we go. The pace truck is off. It's a long way around, though. Josh Parrish going to lead us around to the green flag. And let's get ready for some short track racing. Barney the flagman's ready to go. As they come across the line, green flag is out. We're racing here at Myrtle Beach Speedway for the Myrtle Beach 100. Down into turn 1, Josh Parrish gets himself a phenomenal lead. Dustin Momborquette alongside Trevor Edwards. Trevor Edwards last week dominated a lot of the race, led about 110 laps or so before he got moved, and RS Center took the win. You can see front 5 or so about straightening out. Further back, though, still too wide. We're about 2 wide of maybe 6 rows deep back here. You got battles going on all over the place. You got Aaron Johnson alongside. That would be the 25 of Zachary Onan. So that actually, the number does not line up there. So we have, last week we had some drivers, the numbers didn't match what you see on the timing board. Looks like we have that here again tonight, but that is okay. Looking right in front of here, the battle between Spencer Dickinson and Jason Warren. Spencer, new to the series here tonight, moves up to 6th place after he gets around the outside of Jason Warren. It seems like the outside might be the way to go, as we see a couple drivers making moves. Aaron Johnson, one of those, trying to go to the outside here of Jason Warren. They go through turns 1 and 2. He's going to back off a little bit. Maybe look to take the inside. Yes, he does. Goes for the switchback. Is going to try and dive it deep into turn 3. It's not going to happen there. Right in front, though, you see Dickinson trying to go around Cody Bain now. Cody Bain just going to give him that position there on the outside and dip in behind. Just try and see if he can maybe save those tires as he goes a little bit further in this run. Going further back in the field, we are bumper to bumper back here. A lot of drivers running the same scheme here tonight. Very interesting to see. I'm sure there's some significance to it, so we'll have to figure that out later, see what exactly that is. This is currently battle going on for 13th. You're looking at Josh Oswald. Behind him, he's got Grant Brown, then Devin Rogers and Cody Dempster. As you see Devin Rogers on the outside line, dropping back here a good bit, stuck on that outside line, just can't seem to get that car to grip in. 24 on the inside, Cody Dempster able to pull ahead. Now looking behind, Alex Greats looking to make a move on the 71. Rogers dropping back a little bit more as you see Alex Greats gets a really good run into turn 1. Is that going to be an opportunity for Rogers to dip into the line, get to the bottom? It looks like it is. Another driver trying to see if he can make moves on the inside line is Bill Tomer. As he gets down to the inside, almost gets turned there. Oh, he does get turned. That is him with the 89. The 89, I believe. That would be Neil Vinorodsky getting into him there, going into the turn. You can see Tomer got a little loose, which caused the 89 to get into him. Oh, he did turn him. Oh, that's not going to go well. Don't like to see that. The aggression early on here. Not happy with what happened there, but going up and wrecking somebody, maybe not the right move. I understand the frustration, but you don't. It's just a bad look. Let's go take a look at that wreck again here. We'll take a look at the 89 here of Neil Vinorodsky. He just gets in. I mean, he gets a little loose, gets into him. And now I don't think he tried to turn him. It didn't seem like it. But let's go on board here. We'll take another look at that. See from the nose here of the 89 machine. Dives down into turn 1. Oh, so he just a little too deep on entry. That's it. He tried to see maybe if he can move up a lane. Nothing he really can do about that. That is what it is. But then you see here. Go take a look at this here. You can see Tomer coming around. Not very happy about what had happened. Besides, he's going to go and give a little bit of assistance here to the 89. The first caution of the night comes out a little bit quicker than it did at Hickory, but that's all right. Trevor Edwards, though, was able to jump up to the lead. Yeah, tempers already, JoJo. They came out fast here tonight. Trevor Edwards jumped up to the lead last week, was able to hold the lead for the majority of the race. Dustin Mumborquette not able to hold him off, it seems like. We missed a lot of the action up front because there was so much going on in the back of the field. It was really intense racing. So many drivers side by side as we go throughout the field. But taking a look, your top 5 right now would be Trevor Edwards, Dustin Mumborquette, Josh Parrish, Kiernan Church, and Spencer Dickinson. Now, taking a look, some of our hard chargers from last week, one of those being Cade Green. Not a great start here tonight. He was back in 27th, currently up 3 spots for him. But your hard charger right now is that of the number 9, one of the newcomers of the league, would be Alex Greats. He started back in 24th and is now up to 16th. So we'll see if he can continue that climb, see if he can make his way into the top 15, maybe even the top 10 before the end of the night. We're going to double it up, though. Get ready to go green flag racing. Trevor Edwards elects for the inside line. Behind him, he's got the 55 of Josh Parrish. So we'll see how hard of a jump does Edwards go for it as he decides to try and check up the field a little bit. Side by side, you've got 2 EPI cars. They come around turn 4. It is a long way from where the pace truck comes off. And a run there by Trevor Edwards is going to get him clear of the 16. And he's going to be able to get ahead nice and clean. Behind him, though, battle going on here for 4th. It looks like the 22 of Kieran Church just going to fall in line behind Josh Parrish. A little bit further back, side-by-side battle for 6th place going on. Aaron Johnson, Spencer Dickinson trying to see if they can duke it out to get up to the top 5. Cody Boehm holding on to that 5th spot, though. Here comes Dickinson, maybe going to dive down to the inside of the 78. Not going to. Still side-by-side. They are neck and neck. The one there, Aaron Johnson, is throwing it around the corners. He has phenomenal pace. But we'll see if he's going to be able to keep that up throughout the race. Caution is out. And it looks like it'll be William Griffith involved. Yeah, that 12 car beat up a lot there. Let's go find out what had happened coming around for that caution. '71, Devin Rogers gets a little loose on the exit and able to save it. And, oh, a little bit of help there from the 18. Oh, he is gone. The 18 disappeared. We lost Rodrigo Logo. He just vanished. Go on board here with him and see from his view just what had happened here. Because he went real strong into turn 3 when he got into Griffith. Yeah, I guess he just didn't see the checkup soon enough, but then, yeah, the car just, poof, it's gone. Yeah, so that is just an unfortunate situation there that he finds himself in. William Griffith trying to run the line, ends up getting punted instead. So a quick caution there for the second one tonight. Oh, the ambulance, yeah, right? It's kind of crazy that that wreck happened the way it did. I've never seen... It's very impressive at an oval that you go over the wall like that. Most times, especially in these kind of cars, you don't see that. They don't have that kind of speed to it. But we did see a couple cars, and we saw it there again. They like to ramp up the hood. we saw it last week a couple times where cars would get turned around and they just ramp up, or they catch underneath the driver in front of them and they ride up the hood. And I think somebody went over the top of another car last week, if I remember correctly. We already have 2 drivers out for now. They actually did not start. That would be the 8 car of Hunter Tate and the 27 of Nathan Bishop. But only 19 laps in, 2 cautions. Not a good start right now. Not the cleanest, but still plenty of time to be able to clean it up. 100 laps here tonight, so still got a while to go. We should be getting ready to go green this next time around. I do have to apologize if you guys see in the background, some of the lights, not the lights, the trees and stuff are flickering a little bit. Not sure what is causing that. Tried to see if I could figure that out, but it did not seem to fix the issue. So you just have to bear with me on that. So apologies for that little graphical display, but it's like fireworks going on in the background of the race. So it's got a little extra flair to it. We already have a couple cars damaged. You can see Bill Tomer back out on track. He finds himself 3 laps down. And it looks like Rodrigo Loga is also back on track. Could be wrong. He might still just be in pits. But there are a couple drivers. See, looks like they might be trying to get back out. Or they're just calling it a day and taking it to the trailer. Pace truck is off, though. Trevor Edwards in control of the field. We'll see if he tries to go for an early jump again like he did last time around. He does. Goes deep to the inside to make sure he clears the 16 of Dustin, and he's going to be able to do that as there is a fight behind. Cody Boehm is going to be side by side with Dickinson, and Dickinson's been working his way slowly up through the field as he is now up to 5th place. We're battling for 5th place, trying to see if he can make that outside line stick just the same way that we were seeing Aaron Johnson do that. Another driver stuck on the outside with the 45 of Jason Warren. You can see him not quite having the same luck, though. He drops back alongside now to Zachary Onan. Battle for 9th place going on as Onan gets a good run to the inside. Can't get that car to stick exactly the way he wanted. It's able to get a little bit of a run. And it's going to be Jason Warren still barely holding on to the position, but how much longer? He didn't have a great start to the race on the outside. 3 wide behind, almost 3 wide. That is Jolene Sims stuck on the outside. The 93 of Leon Kinnison in the Pizza Hut scheme on the inside, along with Grant Brown. They're trying to work their way up through the field. Several drivers trying to get that outside line, that middle lane rubbered in. Some drivers able to have some pace through it, some not. Jolene Sims, one thing that I've learned about her throughout the OMA VRC is that she is really strong on the line that is not very popular. She likes to run the outside line and has done a phenomenal job in the Cup car doing that. Right now is holding on here as best she can on that outside line. Still side by side, Grant Brown, Leon Kinniston looks like he might clear her, and a big checkup as they go into turn 3. And it looks like Jason Warren maybe had a little bit of trouble, but a caution comes out, and that is going to be a big checkup further behind. It looks like they maybe affected that. Cody Dempster gets caught up in that one. Looks like the 30 of Jacob Boehm as well. We'll go back and see what happened that brought out that yellow. Boehm actually already beat up a little bit from another incident, but coming around turns 3 and 4, there was actually already a checkup, so we'll have to go back. It looks like maybe it was Cody Dempster just got loose. We'll go see. Let's try that one more time, this time from Cody Dempster's perspective. He's following behind this group of cars. Oh, it was the checkup. Oh, he got into the 14. That's what it is. Grant Brown, 17 of Josh Oswald. Thankfully, the cars look okay. If you take a look at the 17 here of Josh Oswald, that car, he probably took the biggest beat of it on the nose, but it seems okay, at least from this point of view. But just a big checkup caused those cars to break loose. It was that checkup on the inside line that we saw in that battle going on for like 13th position. But now, going to be under caution once again. Third caution of the night. Had quite a few already. I kind of thought being at a bigger track, more room to move, we wouldn't have had so many issues with wrecks. I mean, the problem is though, it's always going to be a fight for the inside line, especially on these flatter tracks. But I'm surprised we've seen so many drivers be able to make that outside line work. Right now, taking a look, if we were to look for our hardest charger, we've got 2 in contention. Kind of 3 if you think about it. But Dylan Williams, the 28 machine, who last week had a really good run early on, and then the car just faded on him later on. He is up 11 spots, up to 14th. Cade Green is back in 17th. He finds himself up 10 spots from where he originally started. And then you also have Jacob Boehm. He is up 8 spots from his original starting position. So those 3 are your drivers right now battling out for the hardest charger. And there are awards for, like, you get bonus point for hardest charger. You get your bonus point for pole position, fastest lap, things like that. So there are various bonus points to go around throughout the season, which if you are interested in seeing the standings get posted before the broadcast, you can always go check out the AMA Twitter. It is at iRacing AMA. They do a phenomenal job getting out all the stuff about who got bonus points, who was the race winner, fastest lap, all that kind of stuff, and they post the results, post-race report, standings, all that kind of stuff before the race. But enough of me blabbing about what they do on Twitter. Let's see what they're going to do on track here as we go green. Once again, third restart of the night. Trevor Edwards doesn't get a great jump here. Dustin Mumbarquette on the outside line, going to stay alongside of him as they go through turn 1. He gets a great run into 1. Is going to be able to pull up alongside him, almost bumping doors as they come out of 2. And they go side by side, battle for the lead. Still on the outside, about at his door is the 16. He's doing a phenomenal job running that outside line. Some cars have been running out there. It seems to be rubbering in, though, as the grip is getting better and better on that outside line. Maybe looking for another attack strategy. Drops in behind Trevor Edwards. Might he dive to the inside? It looks like he might has a little bit of run. Not going to go for that as they go into turn 3. That was a good battle. Good fight there for the lead for a moment, but also behind. Don't look too much further. Battle for third place. You've got Josh Parrish battling it out right now with, that would be the 22 of Kieran Church, but Kieran Church gets into the wall coming out of turn 4. He's going to fall back a little bit alongside with Spencer Dickinson, who each restart, we see him just move himself up a spot or 2 each time, so he's slowly working through the field, but it's a good bit of progress and is on the back door here of the top 3, looking for a podium spot. Side by side now, we see Kieran Church along with Aaron Johnson. Johnson has been doing a phenomenal job on both sides. He can run the inside line. He can run the outside line. The car works for him regardless. Doesn't matter where he's at on the track. He's just got that car tuned in really, really well. I don't know if that's the EPI setup or if that's just the way he's driving. He's doing a phenomenal job getting that car going around. Caution is out once more. And it looks like Cade Green involved with that one. Let's go back and see what had happened here for our fourth caution of the day, lap 36. Coming around here. Turns 1 and 2. We're taking a look at Cade Green. Oh, that was Jacob Boehm who was sideways. So we actually did not see Jacob Boehm was involved in that. Let's go take a look here and see what happened to the 30 car that got him turned around on the backstretch. Comes around. Oh, he got a little bit of help from the 9 and the 24. Alex Greats, Cody Dempster gave a little bit of assistance there to the 30 car of Jacob Boehm. And it seemed like the 9 might have come down a little bit. We can take a look one more time at that and see just a little bit more here on board here with the 9 car and see what had happened, because you can see on the inside there's a little bit of the 30 car. It seems a little bit of him coming down, the 30 coming up. The 24 just had a little bit of run and got into the back end of the 30. So that's what brought out that caution. But so far, lots of beating and banging, but unfortunately also lots of spinning, which has brought out our fourth caution here today. We're going to go green this time around. Oh, next time around. Sorry, I did not see the lights on the pace truck. We were doubled up, so I wasn't sure, but just taking a quick look through your top 5. We've got a couple new faces up here now after that last restart. Trevor Edwards still leads the field. Dustin Monbourquette has done a really good job trying to get around him. Just could not seem to get that little bit of extra pace that Trevor had on the inside line. He's in second. Josh Parrish is still in third. Spencer Dickinson up 4 spots into 4th. And then Aaron Johnson also up 4 spots to round out your top 5. After the wreck, unfortunately, we saw Cade Green drop back. He's currently back in 22nd. But check in with your other hard charger participants, or nominees right now, I guess you could think of it. Dylan Williams is up 11 spots still. He didn't move any from that last restart. Alex Greats finds himself up 9 spots up to 15th. So he's getting there. Only 2 more off, and he's able to pass Dylan Williams for the hard charger. It looks like we do have a couple cars that did end up parking it for the night. They took it to the garage, and they're going to call it a break until next week at 5 flags. Those cars being the 89 of Neil Vinohradsky, the 18 of Rodrigo Loga, and the 11 of Shannon Wilder. It seems the damage was probably too much to repair, and so they decided they're going to pack it up and take it down to Florida for next week. Pace truck is off, and we're getting ready to go green flag racing yet again here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. Trevor Edwards leads the field around, elects for the inside line, does a quick checkup, and it's going to make Dustin have to wait. And he's able to get a jump there. He is playing some mind games with the 16. And almost on the inside was Josh Parrish. He tried to get the nose in there, but could not seem to stick it. And because he had to do a slight checkup, now you've got the 6 car of Spencer Dickinson around the outside trying to make some moves, as well as Kieran Church in the 22 behind. Josh Parrish is going to be able to get to the outside there, block off the 6, and he should be able to hold on to that 3rd place spot. And now you see Aaron Johnson trying to see if he can move himself up a position. But we have seen both of these drivers masterfully maneuver both the inside and the outside lane around these corners. So neither of them going to give an inch here as we go around further behind. We've got a lot of cars battling it out for position, one of them being the 28 machine here of Dylan Williams. Not a great restart for him. He falls back to 17th. He falls back in line behind Cody Brown, but behind you also have the 71 of Devin Rogers. He's fighting for 18th with Nathan Bryant in the 49 car. Couple side by side throughout the back here. A couple up in the front side by side as well. But Devin Rogers going to see if he can get the car to the inside. Looks like he's going to be able to get it there. Maybe go for a crossover here on the 49. As Bryant just going to give him a lot of room. but he's not going to have a move there. Another car on the outside line. We actually have two of them out there. Almost a 3 wide as the 9 almost got down in there. Jolene Sims moving up a good bit, trying to see if she can go for a late apex. Going a wide entry for a tighter exit to get more speed on the exit. Works a little bit there on the back stretch. We'll see how she does through 3 and 4. But you also have the 9 car of Alex Great trying this outside line. They're trying to see if they can move their way up into the field. Jolene looking to get back up into the top 10, but hasn't been able to get up there quite yet. Donald Clark now stuck on the outside as you've got Josh Oswald fighting for the inside line. Big check up there on the bottom as you see a whole lot of cars having to brake a lot earlier. Leon Kennison side by side with Cody Bame up here. This is the front of this group. We have a big pack. We are 2 wide, about 4 or 5 deep here in the pack. This is a battle for 7th up here, or sorry, battle for 8th. And going back further in the field, it's just packed up, and you can see Leon Kennison hard braking into the corner caused that whole inside line to check up. And you can just see, if you look back here, Donald Clark here, that checkup causes a huge pile-up effect, and you see 3 wide coming out of 2. That's not going to work as the 24 gets turned, and that's going to cause a huge wreck coming out of turn 2. The Cody Dempster gets ruined on that one, and we'll go back and see what had happened. Unfortunately, it's just a circumstance of running 3 wide, not a ton of room. Let's go back and see what happened with that wreck. Does a good job sticking down to the bottom. You got the 17 of Josh Oswald there as well. And we'll go on board with Oswald and see exactly what had happened. But it seems like Dempster might have thought he was clear and started to move up a little bit on the track. But let's go take a look here on board with the 17 of Josh Oswald. See what had happened here from his perspective. Means he's stuck in the middle. He sees he's there. He gives him the room, gives him the space. And it just kind of seems he moves down just a little bit on the exit. You see the 24 move up a little bit, and it's similar to what we saw between the 9, and I can't remember who else it was, the 9, and I believe it was the 30, where they just ended up meeting, taking up the same track space, and brought out the caution. So unfortunately, for the 24, that's probably going to be his race. It looks like that toe might be broken. Lots of damage to the nose. Might be able to bring it back out. Jolene Sims also caught up in that. But Josh Oswald seems like his car is clean. He should be good to go. We cross the halfway mark. It is 50 to go. And typically we do a mid-race break under green, but we're going to do it here under caution, which actually works out really well. Get a chance to go through the field here before we go green flag racing. So mid-race break, we're going to go through where all the drivers are here at this point. So Trevor Edwards leads the field. Justin Monbarquette is in 2nd place. Josh Parrish in 3rd. Spencer Dickinson in 4th. Aaron Johnson in 5th. Zachary Onan is up to 6th. Kieran Church fallen back to 7th place. Cody Bame is fallen back to 8th. Leon Kennison finds himself into the top 10 in 9th, and rounding out the top 10 would be the 45 of Jason Warren. Outside of the top 10, we've got Donald Clark, Grant Brown in 12th. 13th is Josh Oswald. 14th, Alex Greats. Nathan Bryant is 15th. In 16th, we've got Devin Rogers. 17th, Dylan Williams. 18th, Cade Green. And the last car currently on track would be that of Jason Lottridge. Cars that are a lap down would be Jolene Sims, Cody Dempster, William Griffith, 22nd. Jacob Bame in 23rd. Bill Tomer is in 24th. And the cars that are done for the day would be Neil Vinorodsky, Rodrigo Loga, Shannon Wilder, Hunter Tate, and Nathan Bishop. Pace lights are off on our pace truck, so we're going to be going green next time around. And we're going to kick up the sound, turn off the microphone, and let you hear the sights and sounds of Myrtle Beach Speedway. All right, so going through, we got a nice green flag run started here. Lots of cars starting to go single file, it looks like, as we look throughout the field. Not as many going too wide, but we've got one back here trying to make some moves on the outside line. That would be Nathan Bryant trying to make a move around the 17 of Josh Oswald. As they go side by side, the 17 washes up a little bit, gets a little tight on the entry, but is able to keep it down low underneath the 49. It's going to be another spot, though, for Bryant as he's able to move up the field. One thing to keep in mind about this series, I don't remember if I touched on it earlier in tonight, but there are no extra tires in the pits, so these drivers have to take them all the way through the race, just like you would see in a normal short track race. They don't get a chance to come in and swap the tires in the middle of the race. For some of these drivers, if they've spun or had some issues getting loose, stuff like that, they burned them up, you just got to deal with it. You got to tough it out and go with it the way it is. And we're seeing some of the drivers having some trouble on entries, getting tight, some getting a little loose on exits. You're starting to see some of that tire wear get into effect, so we've got 39 laps to go. Checking in back with the front, the leaders checking out a little bit here. You see Dustin Marquette and Trevor Edwards spacing themselves out from the rest of the field. You've got Josh Parrish here holding on for third place. He's got Dickinson right behind. Spencer Dickinson has done a phenomenal job working his way to the field, but right now it just doesn't seem like he's got a move on the 55. Just seems like he's going to have to wait where he's at, but take a look behind. Aaron Johnson, that one car, we took a ride on with him during the Sights and Sound segment. He was doing a really good job making some moves on the inside line. He's trying to do it again here on Dickinson, but can't seem to get a look enough to the inside to be able to make a run. He gets peaks here and there. He's got a strong entry, not as strong of an exit, though. See, once again, gets a good run on the inside. Just can't seem to get that run out on the exit. Let's go take a look here on board here with the one car so you can see just exactly how he's getting the run in. He gets that car to get in there, but just can't seem to carry that same speed mid-corner as you see from Dickinson. Dickinson gets a better run off, gets that car to rotate just a little bit better, and that's where he's getting that extra speed. He gets that extra rotation. Is he can get on throttle a little bit earlier the way that he's running in the 6 car than that of Johnson here in the 1 car. That's what's keeping him ahead right now by just a couple tenths of a second. Further back, though, we have 1 car stuck on the outside. That'd be Keenan Church trying to see if he can work his way up the field, but it doesn't seem to be working for him here as he's got Alex Great, your hard charger of the night, alongside of him. Great's up 14 spots now at this point. And up ahead, you also have the battle going on for, that would be Leaf 7th place. Actually, it looks like Cody Bain got the move done. Leon Keniston is back to 8th place. On the inside, though, you see Grant Brown trying to see if he can make a move. Almost makes contact with the 93. Just very barely avoids making contact with the 93 machine. He's able to get a real deep dive into turn 3. Gets that car to rotate real well, and that 14 machine driving really, really smooth here as we go throughout the late stage of this race. Getting ready to cross 30 to go. Can he make another move or two to make himself up to 7th place? Battle for the lead, though, still seems like a flashback to last week. If you remember last week's race at Hickory Motor Speedway, we saw Trevor Edwards in this same situation. He was in control of the field, was way ahead. Now, granted, we had a 60-lap run, and then we also had a handful of shorter runs, but he was able to pull himself away each and every time, was able to gap the field. And then on one of the restarts late in the race, we saw RS Center just get enough of a run in a couple laps. It didn't expect a check up there from Edwards in the middle of turn 2. Was able to get contact with him and ended up turning him, and that moved him to the back of the field and ultimately led to RS Center winning the race. But right now, it seems like Dustin Marquette just can't seem to get close enough to make a move here on the 32. But is he just playing the waiting game at this point? Caution is out. As I was going to say, we're going to go check in with the battle for third because that was definitely heating up. Lots of cars seem to be involved in this one. I see Josh Warren, Alex Great, and Lotteridge, and that is a very beat-up Toyota from the 45. Going back here to see what had happened for this caution. The 45 machine definitely took the brunt of it, but it looks like it happened right up there ahead. The 9 car, oh my gosh, goes up on the rails there. Let's take another look. He hit him again. Let's go take a look here at closer look here from Alex Great's few. We can see what happened with the 71 here. 71, Devin Rogers drives him all the way to the inside. Just gets a little bit extra touch. Tried to go for the bump and run. Gave him a little bit extra shove. Oh, I think he was trying to get him straight. Ended up making it worse there for Greats there as he got him flipped onto his lid. Let's take a look here on board of the 9 car and see kind of what he was looking at here. Nothing you can do, just gotta lock it down as best you can. It's off for Ward, but yeah, what a view. You're seeing it slide on its side and then goes for a little bit extra ride there. And that's gonna be his race ultimately. But I want to take a look here on the 71. You can just see, we'll take a listen here and see if he tried to check up here. Coming through. He's right behind the 9, right on his tail. Yeah, just set it in a little too deep. He maybe thought he was going to stay up a little bit higher. Ends up getting the inside and sends him through the corner. This is our 6th caution of the night. Now 25 to go. When we go green, we should have 23 laps to go. The fastest laps are on the walls. Ask Ross Chastain about that one. He found that out at Martinsville, and then NASCAR said, yeah, that's not happening ever again. that is for sure. So taking a look, though, we're getting ready to go green next time around, most likely. Trevor Edwards still in control of the field. But what does the 16 have for him? He has been doing some phenomenal racing, keeping up with the 32. We saw Dylan Williams keep up with him last week. Dylan Williams just not having the best of races. He's currently in 12th. He's recovered a little bit, but just not quite as high as he would have liked. But you've got a couple other players in the front here that have been really strong runners, just weren't able to match that pace of the 32. Keep an eye out for Spencer Dickinson and Aaron Johnson, both on the inside on this restart, to maybe make some moves and try and move up a spot or two. Some other ones throughout the field, though, to keep an eye on. We've seen Nathan Bryant make some moves. Leon Kennison's been slowly working his way up the field. Same with Grant Brown, so lots of drivers to keep in mind that can maybe make a push for the top 5, maybe even a podium. Some might be able to make a move for the lead. But here we go, green flag racing yet again. 23 laps to go, and Trevor Edwards gets jumped, but Dustin Monborquette not going to let him get away that easily. He's going to be able to dive to the inside. There's enough room, and he gets a phenomenal run out of 1. He's going to be able to carry a lot of momentum into turn 2, and he's going to be on the back stretch right on the bumper of the 32, but is not going to get close enough to make a dive down to the inside. Side by side, 3 deep back behind, but here comes Monborquette. He's going to make a move for the lead, down to the inside of the 32. They're side by side racing for the lead. Could it be Monborquette getting back into the lead? Can't get it on the backstretch, has to back off a little bit early going into 3 and 4. We haven't really seen Trevor Edwards had to run on the outside line, a little tight through the corner. Can't get that car to rotate as cleanly as he would like. Dustin Monborquette has to back off, and that's going to allow Trevor Edwards to get back into the lead nice and cleanly. So a little bit of a contest there from the 16, but it's not going to be enough to force the 32 to have to drop back to second place. Now it's time to reset, try and see if he can send it once again. Battle for third place going on, though, currently between Dickinson and Parrish, and then further behind, right behind them, we've got 2 deep. It is going to be Aaron Johnson and Zachary Onan there side by side as well. It doesn't seem like Onan holding it down as well. He does get a good run through the corner, but it's not going to be enough to keep up with Aaron Johnson, so he's going to drop back. Looking to make a move to the inside. Aaron Johnson is going to block that off, causing a huge check up there behind. And that's going to cause Grant Brown to get turned, and that's also the 71. There's a huge stack up. That caused about 7-8 cars in that one. And that was a massive wreck coming out of turn 2. Taking a look at this one, so you can see it was that checkup that caused this whole wreck to start. And we'll take a look here. You can kind of see just how it inspired from further back. Oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong one. That was our earlier wreck. My apologies. Let's go to the proper caution we just had. This is the one we just had. You can see we're going a little bit further back in the field. You can just see how much that checkup caused the rest of the field to stack up. Oh, and the 49, he didn't even slow up. It seemed like a couple cars just kind of drove through that. Let's go on. I want to take a look from the 03's perspective. He was the last car to get in there, up on board his nose, and see what had happened here. You can get a nice full view of everything. We'll slow it down here because it's right there. You see the checkup up there with the 93 of Keniston. The 14 of Grant Brown gets turned. Cody Bame trying to keep it together. And that's where everybody piles up. It looks like Cade Green just running to the back end there of Dylan Williams. And then it just fans out from there. And whew, we got another car ramping up there. All three of the same schemes getting into the back wall. But that was a huge wreck, involved about half the field. The question is, how much damage do some of these drivers have? Are they going to be able to drive it off from there? But tonight, this race, much different from Hickory last week. There were some bumps and bruises and some hurt feelings here and there, and tempers were flaring, but this week, it's been a lot more intense when it comes to that. That outside wall is definitely getting a lot of love here tonight. Getting a lot of cars up there, adding some paint to it. But it's going to be an intense final 13 laps because we should be one to go next time around. Lights on the pace track are still on. The 13 laps to go once we go green. And just a reminder about the green-white checkered rule. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yes, we have 3 green-white checkered attempts. So it's going to be really intense finish here. With the way we've been driving, I fully anticipate using at least 1 or 2 of them. But we'll have to see if it comes to that point. Lights off on the pace track. We're going to get ready to go green flag racing. Dustin Monbarquette tried to give a really good run on Trevor Edwards last time for the lead. Can he do that here? Will he be able to get the move done is the big question. He hasn't been able to do it yet. Been able to make some opportunities, but also you have to think Spencer Dickinson, Josh Parrish, and Aaron Johnson all getting impatient, want to try and make their move for the lead. So how much longer do you think they can wait? Do they have the pace to catch up? We've got 13 laps to finish it. And it's Trevor Edwards coming around once again, leading the field for a 7-3 start. Gets a nice early jump. Gonna get him way ahead of the field. And that's gonna be way up ahead of Dustin Monbarquette. Monbarquette gets really good exits, but the problem is Trevor Edwards just so smooth throughout the whole corner. Battle for third place, though, is where it's at. Who can get on the podium? Dickinson, Johnson, Parrish, all trying to fight. They've been strong outside of the top 2. They're your fastest on the field. They've been up, they've moved their way up and been up there the whole time. Side by side, Josh Parrish has that outside line on lock. These EPI cars just have a setup that can really rip that middle line. As he tries to get the run on the exit, it has a bit of a run coming onto the front stretch, but that's going to be Dickinson on the inside, able to get ahead a little bit. Harry Johnson is just right in the perfect spot he wants to be, waiting for an opportunity to be able to jump on a mistake, or if either driver gets into the other, that is his free spot for third place. 10 laps to go here, getting down to the nitty-gritty, and you can see Parrish falling off a little bit on Dickinson. He's still there. Dickinson tries to open up, not going to be able to, as he's just got a little bit of the nose there from the 55 on his outside line. He's going to be able to carry a lot of momentum there around from the turns 3 and 4. Good exit from Parrish. But turn 1 is just so quick for that inside line. He can't seem to stick with it. And so the move finally done there. Dickinson finally able to work his way up and hold on to that third place spot. Now Aaron Johnson again to see if he can move up a spot up into 4th. It seems like the rest of the field spreading out, going single file. So right now, battle for 4th place is where it's at. But don't look too much further. The battle for the lead, it seems to be getting closer and closer, as Dustin Monbarquette is going to have to pull something out very, very soon. As you see Josh Parrish drop to the inside line, going to give a little bit of space, almost gets a massive run into the one of Aaron Johnson. Further behind, though, we've got Cade Green, Nathan Bryant fighting it out here. This is the battle for 9th place, as Cade Green has worked his way up through a lot of the field. Give or take what had happened on that last caution. He's been doing a smooth job staying the car, keeping the car out of trouble. So he gets a great run through the middle of the corner. Can he get some run on the exit here to pull up alongside the 49? That outside line has been able to work for some. Cade Green can't seem to get it to stick around to the entry of turn 1, but gets a good run out of the exit of 2. They go into 3. He got a good rotation through 3 and 4 last time, had a good run. It's just not enough, it seems, to stick with the 49 on the outside as they go into turn 1. They can cut that inside much better on that inside line. As you can see, again, gets a big advantage there on the 19. Just can't seem to get that done. Oh, Devin Rogers almost sends it to the inside, trying to go 3 wide. What a push here as the 78 of Cody Bain slows down a little bit more. Big check up there as he's going to move up to the high side, try and block Cade Green a little bit. But this working Cade Green's advantage, though, as he gets a big run on the outside line. The 78 has to check up on the exit, slides up a little bit. That's Cade Green up to 8th place, trying to see if he can make another move, but we are sideways. Cade Green caught up with Cody Bain. It just seemed like Bain lost it on the inside line. We saw him getting loose each and every corner, and that's unfortunately going to send us to overtime. Go back and see that one more time. Taking a look as they go through turns 3 and 4. Oh, actually, he got a little bit of assistance. Sorry, I thought he got a check. I thought he got a little loose. But Nathan Bryant, a little impatient, ends up sending the 78 up into the 19. That's where Cade Green fought so hard to work his way through the field. Gets caught up in that one. We're going to kick off our first of 3 overtime attempts. So if you're not familiar with overtime, how that works is we're going to go green, white, checker, and attempt to finish this under green flag conditions. If we get a caution before we take the white flag, we're going to stack it back up and try it again. We have 3 attempts of these. If the leaders take the white flag, then the race is official, and we are going to finish this under green flag. It'll be just a mad dash to the finish once the white flag is out. As a reminder, you can catch the AMA next Tuesday night as well. We'll be live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're heading to Five Flags, home of the Snowball Derby. So it's going to be a bit different conditions than what we see here tonight. The track has a little bit more banking. It's a little bit faster. It's a nice track. If you've never seen Five Flags, it races really well. Has some really good passing opportunities, and is just a very unique track. The one nice thing about all these short tracks, there are so many. They're very different. Some race similar, but it's a nice mix of bull rings. You have some high banked ones, some flat ones. It's a wide mix of things. But we will see how things go next week at Five Flags. But we're down a good bit of cars here at this point. We have some that have called it quits. Looks like we have Alex Greats has taken it to the trailer for the night. Jason Warren and Donald Clark, both in pit road still, but it seems like it might be race over for them now that we are going green, white, checkered. So I would assume that they take their cars down into the infield. A couple cars a lap down. You see William Griffith, Josh Oswald, and Grant Bryan a lap down. 6 laps down, Bill Tomer, and then we've got 15 laps down from Jacob Bain, and Cody Dempster currently finds himself down 21 laps. Still on the track, though, so they're going to finish this out as best they can, but here we go. Green, white, checkered, overtime 1. Can we get it done on the first attempt? Trevor Edwards, side by side, Dustin Monbourquette gets a big jump, and Monbourquette's going to try and cut it to the inside. Can he make a dive down through turn 1? Trevor Edwards is going to do the best he can to protect that inside. Dickinson tries to see if he can get on the inside of Monbourquette. But these two have just been in a league of their own here tonight. Monbourquette going to see if he can make a run down through turn 3. Not going to be able to get that momentum. Going to see if he can set up the exit, though, as you see him go a little bit slower to get a bigger run on the exit. We take the white flag. This race is official. Trevor Edwards leads the field here going into turn 1. Dustin Monbourquette going to see if he can make a move, but doesn't have enough of a run. Has a good exit. It gets a little slidey on the exit, but that's going to open up a bit of a space here between him and Edwards. Trevor Edwards going to try and get the win. He's going to hold on coming out of turn 4. He gets what he thought should have been his last week as he got turned to Hickory Motor Speedway. He comes back to Myrtle Beach and dominates the field once again. And we finish this one, just one overtime attempt in this one after all the bumping and banging we had throughout the field. Some really strong racing. We saw some great competitors come through the field. Some newcomers stepping up here like Dustin Monbourquette. We saw Aaron Johnson, Spencer Dickinson, Josh Parrish. There were a lot of really good runners finding their way up to the front. But let's take a look here now that the race is official. Let's take a look at the race results. Trevor Edwards, your race winner. Dustin Mumborquette in the 16 finishes in second place. Aaron Johnson in the 1 car worked his way up to third, so patience paid off for him. Then you've got Spencer Dickinson in the 6th, finishing 4th. Josh Parrish rounds out the top 5. Zachary Onan finished in 6th place. Leon Kennison in 7th. Nathan Bryan in 8th. Dylan Williams in 9th. And Devin Rogers rounds out the top 10. Cody Bame in 11th. Jolene Sims gets her car back out in 12th. Cade Green survives through some of that wreckage. The 13th. Kieran Church in 14th. And Jason Lottridge rounds out the lead lap cars in 15th. William Griffith in 16th. 17th is Josh Oswald. 18th, Grant Brown. In 19th, Bill Tomer. Rounding out the top 20, Jacob Bame. Then we have Cody Dempster in 21st. Jason Warren, 22nd. Alex Grates, 23rd. Donald Clark, 24th. Neil Vinorodsky in 25th. Rodrigo Loga in 26th. Shannon Wilder, 27th. And Hunter Tate finishes out the field in 28th. We're going to try and get some of our top 3 finishers up here for some interviews. So let's go take a look at who we've got in the driver channels. We're going to see if we can get them in. Don't see Aaron. Oh, there is Aaron Johnson. Let's go ahead and pull him on up, your 3rd place finisher. We've got Aaron Johnson, driver of the number 1 machine. And Aaron, welcome, by the way, to the AMA. That was one heck of a race that you had out there. You made it work on both the inside and the outside line. A strong 3rd place finish for you.
Yeah, I had to work on that last one right there. I hadn't really ran the outside that much tonight. And it felt like it worked pretty good there at the end.
Yeah, you were doing a really good job. We saw you throughout the race working both inside and outside line, and it just seemed like that car was really tuned in just both ways. You were able to make moves kind of wherever, but towards the end, we saw lots of battling going on in front of you between Dickinson and Parrish, and you were just sitting there. It seemed like you were just kind of waiting for something to happen. Through that last lap, though, it seemed like you made a move.
Yeah, I knew I was faster than them two. I just wanted to buy my time, let them two figure it out before I started to go after them. But I figured them two were a little bit tighter than I was, and evidently it worked out pretty well for me.
Yeah, I mean, you had one heck of a race. Started back in 9th place, moved up to 3rd. So, I mean, you had to do a lot of battling to get up here for the finish. That's for sure.
Oh, for sure. It was stressful at some times, but you know, it just all worked out where it needed to be.
Well, that was some phenomenal racing for you. And before we send you on out for the night, anybody you would like to thank? Anything you would like to say?
I gotta thank the guys at the shop, Elite Performance Industries. You guys for putting the broadcast on. Tyler for doing this league, and just can't wait to get back here next week.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you at Five Flags, and maybe we'll be talking to you again next week.
Hope so.
All right. See you around, Aaron. Thanks for joining us.
See ya.
And now we're going to bring up, and I hope I say his name correctly. He can correct me if I'm wrong now that he's up here in the booth with me. Your 2nd place finisher, Dustin Mumborquette of the 16 machine. And Dustin, that was a heck of a drive that you had. You kept trying to give everything you could to Trevor. Just didn't seem like you had enough there at the end.
No. All the cautions, honestly, I felt on the long run I was pretty good after, I don't know, 8 or 10 laps. But we were trying some stuff, and Trevor definitely figured out some short run things, and I felt like I was maybe a little bit better than him on the long run, if not really even. So I don't know. It's a good learning experience, and yeah, I can't complain.
Yeah, it was phenomenal racing between the two of you, especially towards the end. I think it was one of the last restarts where you got a push to the inside, and you were able to get on the inside of him and try and make a move. Just, it didn't seem like it wanted to stick. Was it, what was going on with the car there? Because you almost had the move done. You got him side by side. You got even, just then all of a sudden you fell back a little bit.
Yeah, like honestly, the car was really good. I can't really say anything about the setup. Like, it drove good, did everything I wanted it to. Just I got bogged down coming off of 4 underneath him there, and I was wide open and it wasn't going anywhere. So I don't know, it's kind of product of low horsepower racing. he had the momentum up there on the top and was just able to clear me again.
Well, it was phenomenal racing from you. Hopefully we see you back next week at Five Flags. I look forward to seeing you on track, because that was phenomenal seeing you and Trevor go back and forth. You guys kind of ran away with it there for a little while in the long run. But before we have you head on out, anything you would like to say? Anybody you would like to thank?
First and foremost, I want to thank all you guys for putting this on. Tyler and Cade and everyone for running this league. It's a lot of fun just to come out and do some long races with a lot of cars. It's good to try and stay in the groove of things. I gotta thank Justin Brooks Designs. He made this thing look amazing not long before the race. I thank everyone at Elite Performance Industries, everyone at the shop, Trevor, Aaron, Josh Cottle, Spencer Dickinson, Jacob Hayes, just everybody back at the shop, everyone I'm forgetting. I can't thank everyone enough.
All right, Dustin, well, thank you for joining me up here in the booth, and great racing tonight. Look forward to see you next week at Five Flags.
Thank you.
So now we're going to bring in our race winner, driver of the number 32 machine. We've got Trevor Edwards. And Trevor, how does it feel to come away with the win tonight?
It feels good. Oh, had a week late, it feels like. Should have won the first one and the second one, but that's how racing goes sometimes.
Yeah, last week was a little bit of a unfortunate situation, because you had a really good race. The car looked great last week, just like it did tonight. I mean, you just seem to have this 32 machine tuned in. And going through this race, it was you and Dustin going back and forth. And every time it seemed like I just asked Dustin this, he got side by side with you at one point. You guys had a couple laps where he was on your inside, you were on the outside. Take us through that. What happened with that? You got a little bit of extra launch. Maybe he just said he didn't have enough to be able to keep it on the inside and stay side by side with you. Take us through that battle a little bit.
Yeah, I think we were both tight. The cars were really good to fire, and then they would just tighten up too much for some reason. And I pinched him pretty hard right there, because he was there, but he wasn't quite there, and I think that just let me get the drive off that I needed, honestly.
I mean, that was phenomenal racing that you guys had. Seeing just you guys especially on the long green flag run, similar to last week, you able to just show that long run pace and how that car can run. You guys definitely have this car tuned in. So going back to last week, you again, like you said, it should have been a win for the 32 machine. I mean, it is what it is, but looking forward to the rest of the season, we've seen you control two races really, really well. What can we expect of the 32 car going forward?
Hopefully a bunch more wins, but it's going to be tough to beat these guys that are on my team. The shop has been really good in this car since it came out. We swept the top 5 here tonight. So it's just going to be tough to beat them guys. It's going to have to be perfect laps the whole race, because if not, they'll jump and pounce and they'll get a W.
Oh, see, I didn't realize it was an EPI top 5. I knew it was podium. I didn't realize it was an EPI top 5. That is really good for Elite Performance Industries to have out there. But before we have you head on out and go celebrate your victory, Trevor, anybody you would like to thank? Anything else you would like to say?
Just got to thank everybody at the shop, man. And they put in a whole lot of work. Cottle Captures will have some killer screenshots of this race for us to put out on social medias. Elite Performance Industries, like I said, we got this car pretty well figured out. If you need any help and any advice, just message one of us that are over here at EPI. We'll be glad to help, whether you're a customer or not. And then Justin Brooks Designs, this car, I've ran it since the car came out. It's been good luck, so I probably will never change until there's some bad luck. And I appreciate you for broadcasting and putting a little light on this series. It's a pretty good little series. It's just started up, and hopefully we get some more guys to come run.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal start to the season. 2 really good races so far, and I don't expect that to change when we go down to Florida next week for Five Flags. But congratulations again, Trevor, and thank you for joining me up in the booth. Glad I got to talk to you this week.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right, so congratulations to Trevor for that win. That was phenomenal racing all throughout the field. It started off a little rough, some beating and banging, but that's also what happens when you throw 30 cars on a short track. Not a lot of room to move. You got fighting for that bottom, running really, really tight. Next week, don't expect things to be any different as we go to Five Flags track. A little bit more banking, a little bit tighter than this. It's going to be a really fun time down in Florida. But with all that being said, I want to take a moment to thank all of you for joining us here at No Name Gaming and Racing Lights Productions for the American Motorsports Association's Myrtle Beach 100. Congratulations to Trevor Edwards for taking the win in tonight's race. Join us next week as we head to the track that is home of the Snowball Derby, Five Flags Speedway. We hope you all enjoyed the broadcast tonight. I want to thank the AMA for allowing us to bring this race to all of you. Be sure to check out Racing Lights Productions on Twitter and at Racing Lights Pro, as well as over on Facebook and Instagram. You can also head over to the YouTube channel to watch any previous broadcasts that you have missed. The Hickory Motor Speedway race is also up there. If you haven't seen that one, highly recommend, because that was a phenomenal race. I'm Alex Light saying good night to you from the virtual Myrtle Beach Speedway. Thanks again for tuning in.